And we continue to discuss whether there is a place for children in real business. Can we use not just games but real business cases for career development? From what age should we talk about future careers? What are the requirements towards young professionals are there in the professional market? We will discuss all this during our session. And I now give the floor to Nizyaeva Tatyana, the head of the Educational and Social Projects at the Skolkovo Foundation. Distinguished participants of Startup Village, my name is Tatyana Nizyaeva, and I work at Skolkovo Foundation on the social policies. And today we have our distinguished speakers in our studio. First, Anastasiya Zelenova, the head of the Department of Social and Educational Policies in Skolkovo Foundation, Ekaterina Morozova, the director of Open University Skolkovo, and also the head of the Mentors Academy. And we also have joining us Oleg Beriev from Yummy United. This is a company that is head and led by children. And today, within the framework of our session, Dreaming of Space, Young Entrepreneurs Playing Business or Internship in an Adult World, we will discuss whether there are benefits from children's work in real business, how to build the proper communication for adults that are just starting, so to say, because a school project as an instrument is it's not just an opportunity to have a fresh outlook on some problem, to unleash their potential, perhaps to discover some new skills and gain them. It's not only that, but it's also the future growth on the career path of young children, and especially when it's accompanied by mentoring. Let's start from the basics. And now I'd like to give the floor to Anastasiya Zelenova, and she'll tell us about who are just starting adults or young adults, what is it about, and how to work with all that. Yes, Tatyana, thanks a lot for giving me the floor. Indeed, lately, we started to say that there is a separate group or cohort of school students whom we call the new adults. And at the same time, there are some other definitions and titles, such as, for example, early independent children. But we love the term young adults or starting adults. We know that children don't like when they are called children, and this is just a chance, another chance for children to feel more adult. Unfortunately, I'm having some troubles with my clicker. Unfortunately, I can't really share properly my presentation, but I will, yeah, now it works. Well, who are the young adults? This is a new category of children who would like to be independent. And now it's not enough for them to just be given and provided with some traditional educational methods. They would like to feel earlier what the adult world looks like. So they would like to get kind of an internship, as we call it, in the adult world. They do understand that the world is moving very fast, and if they lose now, lose this time, waste this time, then they will not be able to catch up in the future. And in addition to that, they would like to feel what is it, a professional world. They are not satisfied with the passive position of just a student. They would like to be active. And objectively speaking, in the contemporary educational process, of course, this is not about all the schools, but still, in the majority of cases, we see that this category of children is underestimated. For example, the children have created something, and what to do with that? Here comes the next question. I'm talking about this. And there's another problem. Despite the fact that the designing and the school projects, all these elements are already there, solidly integrated into the educational programs, but we do see that while the lessons at school are very far from like real-life projects, and this could result in some kind of confusion because children would like to address some challenges, make the next step into the future, do not get the tools that they could make use of. And it's very nice that, please, next slide. It's very nice, as I've said, that on the backdrop of all this, we see the emergence of many initiatives within different accelerators, project schools, some boot camps, and they include these group of children and provide these children with the opportunity to feel adults, to try out their ideas. Our department actually does the same. We also implement these initiatives. For example, lately we've done the accelerator at the Skolkovo gymnasium, and within this accelerator, our students have come up with their entrepreneurial projects, and they were working afterwards with the mentors, the representatives of the ecosystem, and then they had to pitch their projects and defend them. Some of the projects sought support, and one of these projects was also presented to the investors yesterday. I don't think that they'll get the real financing, so none of the investors stood up and said, we'll give you the money. But still, the project that was presented yesterday, the owner of this project got the access to the professional lab. This is about green schools. And she will be able to work with professionals and seek their support. So on this slide, you can see the approaches within which we work with this group and category of the target audience. So any child could be a young adult. This is not about any talent, any unique skills. You don't have to win in a school Olympics. You don't have to be very good at any subject or major. For us, it's very important that a child sees a problem. For example, during our previous session, we've had such examples. There were some libraries missing in a city, in a town, and the children decided that they should create some bookcases or bookshelves, or maybe they also created the bike parking. So here I'm talking about the fact that children see the problem and they suggest some solution. This solution should come from themselves, not from anybody else. And they can also seek support from the real industries, and in our case, from the innovative ecosystem. So they're not just doing everything on their own, but they have a support, a professional support, and professionals help children to finalize the idea, to package it, to present it to sponsors, or maybe to talk about it on some platforms that also provide some opportunities for fundraising. And we've seen that at the starting point, we were told that our initiative is not really realistic because the startups simply do not have time to communicate with children, but we've seen the interest. The startups see some potential in children, and I'll talk about it a bit later as well. I would like to point out to another very important aspect, but we believe it to be very important. Children's initiatives should be at least partially implemented. Well, we do understand that the young adults, I do not want to call them children. They of course, can come up with some global idea that will be very difficult to implement. But young adults could see or can see and should see that their project is coming and becoming a reality. That's how they will understand that they can influence the situation, can shape their future. And that's how they also get at their disposal the right tools. Because not only young adults can make use of these tools, but the real adults could also do that in their professional activities. And evidently, young professionals, young adults who've gone through the experience of some mentoring and presenting, they'll be much more experienced in these aspects as compared to other children who didn't have this experience, and they'll be more competitive in the future. And this is a two-way street. It's very important to mention that, as young adults would like to enter the adults' world, just the same, likewise, the business is also moving towards the young adults. What is the interest of business? Here you can see some of the main reasons. they are no less important. Yes, indeed, for somebody, this can help to establish a direct contact with the audience. We do understand that the companies that are aiming at children, adolescents, and other age groups, they'll get the opportunity to non-stop test all their hypotheses, and they'll get a feedback on each of their initiatives. And this is about engaging design, when the designers of the project can work jointly with the initiators and with the audience. And what's already been mentioned today is that it's also about the huge creative potential, because young adults, children, adolescents can generate ideas in an absolutely different manner as compared to even just university students. Because before a child comes to some professional fields, he or she doesn't know what's right and what's wrong. He just does the way he or she feels. And indeed, this solution could be a breakthrough. It could be very innovative. And the adults sometimes can't generate these ideas. And also, I would like to mention here that this is a very good place for cultivating the staff and personnel for some businesses. Well, I think it's an open secret that the education cannot always catch up with the changes that happen in our lives and professional activities. We see that, well, the speed of change is just gigantic, and the educational sector is not that flexible. So when we involve those who haven't even yet entered a university into the real business, it enables us to actually help the children who will afterwards also be there on the labor market. Perhaps they will not get back to the companies where they got the internship or implemented some projects, but in any case, there will be a full-fledged players in the industry, and they'll be just moving this progress forward. Here, I would like also to add, it's quite natural and it needs to be mentioned that, of course, the interaction with young adults is a highly risky environment. Children do not sign any contracts. They do not have any responsibilities. Their participation in our projects is an absolutely voluntary decision, and when they are motivated, they'll continue to perform and to produce results. But evidently, there could be some surprises appearing as well. And in addition to that, this field is not regulated yet at all, because when we were actually also doing fundraising for the project, the big thing starts with something less, something small. Well, we saw that those who were ready to invest, they wanted to get some guarantees. They wanted to be sure that the finance that they would invest would be used properly. And as of today, we do not have any mechanisms of how to interact with children and to provide these guarantees to the stakeholders. Perhaps in the future we could organize it and address this task. And we will get more young professionals and young adults programs and projects that will be implemented. And there is another risk, which is to make this activity efficient, we need mentors. Within the competition that we organized and that we mentioned just during the previous session, we saw that if a mentor that helps children is not very good at project activities and at what is going on, then of course it's very difficult to help. But sometimes mentors were just doing something by themselves. But this is the way to nowhere. Yes, thanks a lot, Anastasiya. We'll get back to our mentors just a bit later. Do you think that a school project is one of the starting points towards the future career path of children? because we are also developing different educational projects and programs within our department. So what are other practices, maybe top 3 most popular practices, in your opinion, that are very efficient? Yes, indeed, since this field continues to develop, I believe that we'll get more and more methods like this. Indeed, the designing process is the method that helps young adults to get into the professional world. Also, internships. We've actually got some experience when our children had some short-term internships and they were addressing the real business tasks, and they were solving real business cases. And afterwards, we asked them what was the gist of that. And the employees of the companies where the internships took place, they said, well, we had some problems and we just presented these problems to the children. And quite often, children generated some non-standard solutions, and their adult employees didn't even think about it. And another good instrument is competitions. So I call upon everybody to take part in contests. They could be focused on different ages. And if children initiate their participation, we should support them with this and support their applications. This is a very good instrument, and the competitive edge always helps. Thanks a lot. I actually want to get back to the institution of mentors, because the communication between school and the companies cannot be possible without a mentor. And now I'd like to give the floor to Ekaterina Morozova, who doesn't only train mentors, but also she does it in the regions. Sorry for this repetition, but this is very important. So, Ekaterina, the floor is yours. Yes, indeed, colleagues, thanks a lot for inviting me to come here. Thank you for your observations, and just thank you for being there, for doing this important work with school children. And I've come to the Hypercube, to Skolkovo for the first time after a long break. And actually, 5 years ago, we had a young scientists and startups school here. And I believe that, 18 years is the minimum age with which we will not work with startups. So we didn't accept first the bachelor's to our startups programs. After that, we didn't accept the applications from the bachelor's that were younger than the third year. But then we were lowering this age minimum, and we started to work with school children because it is very beneficial for them and for their parents. If we take a look at the social networks and the success stories, indeed there are some school students that have some millions now because of their technological startups and their ideas. And we, as a part of Skolkovo, we always take a look around, and we would like to see what are the driving forces of technological projects. And we always try to apply the same mechanisms to the work with the startups, with young children, young professionals. And we understood that what works with startups, such as mentorship, for example, if there is a mentor who works with a startup and the mentor can call some large enterprises and top managers and help the startup to become visible. And well, the same could be done with the school projects, school children projects. But I'd like, of course, to start with the definition of a mentor. If we talk about a mentor for a school student or university students projects, well, still, school children have to learn. And the mentor here is a complex figure, complex player, because on the one hand, this cooperation should result in some educational results, learning results, but on the other hand, we also have to produce some product result, because in the end, there should be something useful that could be called a product. It can be useful for their peers, for the school, for city, town, doesn't matter. So the focus here is not on the process still, but on the result. And A mentor for a school student or a university student is the person who can share his or her knowledge. This means that this person should have their knowledge. Then the mentor should actively develop the team and each of the members of the team. And then, as Anastasiya mentioned, the role of the mentor is very important, invaluable, mostly valuable for children and for students, because indeed this is the path towards the future career in the adult world. And talking about the multifaceted character of this player, of this mentor, at first we didn't think that there are such unicorns in the world, because on the one hand it should be a good trainer, on the other hand it should be a good project leader and a professional, for example, in the field of biotech or quantum computing. And we've had 5-year experience of work with this topic, and there are as many people in the world like this as there are unicorns in business. What I mean here is that the school teams and university teams should be supported by several people. Some of them can be working from the inside of school to help to find some idea to motivate the participants, and also to allocate some time and place for this project within the educational process. So this is first the internal mentor, but they should also have an external mentor. For example, if we do some research projects, there should be some people from the science. For example, in Novosibirsk, we have a project. It is called Hunters for Microbes. Just imagine a scientific research in which the school students participate jointly with real scientists. The task was very serious: to map the earth, the soil in Novosibirsk in the region, and to map it all accordingly. And for this, hundreds of thousands of people had to go out and just start digging. Of course, it's a very expensive test and research. In addition to a lot of samples and probing, getting the samples, you have to analyze all this according to some particular algorithm, and after that one needs to process all this data. So we found the place for school children in this process. They were those people who just went out digging for soil in their villages in Novosibirsk, and so they got the petri dishes and the number of the protocols how to describe all this, what bacteria they've cultivated. And so it looked like they were just growing and cultivating their own children.
They wanted to see whether it grew or not. The other thing is that people from villages and small towns got involved. For them, it was the first opportunity to keep in touch with the real science. They felt as a part of experiment. And the kids, sometimes in Novosibirsk, they can go across the road and they prove to be already in an academic part. If it's an entrepreneurial project for a school kid, it's important to have a person who did something in business, who has experience. He can say what to avoid. But this is important that such mentors could work with teachers. We help our kids a lot to advance with these mentors, but also we do our modern school open to the world, because out of the problems of modern education, so people who teach at school, they come teachers after the university and they are stuck there. They reproduce this knowledge all the time. But when people from the other world comes to school, I think that school kids like this more. One more thing is that mentor, in comparison with a school teacher, has different principles of activity. First of all, he can come with some experience background. If even is he a student of technical university, he still has experience, especially if he's involved in projects. And the most demanding category of mentors for school kids are guys from 25 till 35 years old. These are practically their parents, but also they can speak a common language. For example, as to me, for me, it's very difficult to speak with school kids, but they can't call me by name. And besides experience, you have to be accepted. You can't just say, hello, I will be your mentor. School kids are disciplined. They can say, thank you, let it be, but they won't accept you. So this should be voluntarily from both parties, from both sides. Certainly, you should remember, if you come as a mentor, your main task is not to say, do as I do, or I will do this instead of you. Your position is to open up a talent in pupils. That's why we started a new project, the Academy of Mentors. Mentorship should be taught. You should. We had such experience that we just had some people who started to work as mentors. And these people, they wanted to say, so how you should do. How you should do. As parents, we know how to be mentors, and of course, we can do this, and we can write a business plan. But it doesn't work like this. Mentors have their own set of tools which he uses to do projects. I have a separate slide. There are a lot of smart words about competition, competitions of mentors, about skills, modeling of experience, reflection, and feedback. Don't be scared. These words look quite difficult, but we launched the Academy of Mentors, and you can you can learn here everything. This is online course. And you can become better mentors, I'm sure. That's very interesting, and it's very understandable regarding unicorns. But I have this question. If a person or a participant of an educational process wants to become a mentor or a project, what recommendations can you give? Where could he go? Of course, he can go to study at this Academy of Mentorship, and many people already went through this course. But still, if a person wants to become a mentor, but he doesn't know where to go, what should he do? If you are a parent, start as a parent. This is an evident thing. It's on the surface, but nobody uses it. We as parents work, and also we work as engineers, as researchers. We have our own business, and we think that kids go to school, but after this, our attitude with school is finalized, is over. But we are needed at school as professionals. We can do different interesting projects with kids, and you should not do a lot of efforts for this. You should speak with your classroom teacher, and you can say, I want to work with your kid, with our kids for competition, for some competitions. I can maybe speak about my business. And as a parent, you will have a competitive advantage because you have an access to school. You should not go over the different fences. If you are a student or studying specialist, many universities have agreements with schools, and they're looking for such people who want to be mentors and who want to work with the schools. If you are 55 plus, I think it's the best thing which you can do in life. You can say, I am a respected person, experienced, I have a lot of free time, I'm ready to share my experience with you, but it's a little bit more difficult for you because you have to you should rethink your manner of communication, because I'm 35 plus. We have the system of Soviet Union school when we have this attitude at different levels, teacher as a commander. And if you want to be a mentor, it's a little bit different. You should change approach. You should learn horizontal relationships, but it's very pleasurable. These are amazing practical recommendations. If you are interested in the role of mentors, please take note. But now I will proceed. The last module of our session, I will give the floor to Oleg Beriev, co-founder of the company Yami United. I hope he will say about our final big starts small, and it's like the continuation of the previous session. Thank you, colleagues. I heard so many smart words. Now I know how to become mentors and how you can feel at 55 plus. Yami United, this is the company which manages kids, and we launched this project 2 years ago. We launched it from Italy, and 1 year ago we came to Russia. So Yami United produces food for kids. That's why we were looking for the way to involve our target audience. Traditionally, adults try to think more about kids than it's needed, and traditional marketing, traditional business is based on some specialists. You know, sometimes they also can conduct focus groups. We think that modern business is not industrial, because traditional business is purely industrial. It's around factories and manufacturers, and marketing is something which can make products more attractive for the audience. But we are not an industrial company. We were created as a company within the concept of custom-centric or human-centric, and the core of this company is target audience. In order to engage our audience, and we have kids 8-12 years old, it's quite a specific group of people. What characteristics do these people have? At this time, kids become disobedient. They form their point of view. They are in conflict with parents. By 14, 15, at 14, 15, parents lose them. But 8, 12, it's already some kind of contradiction. At this period of time, personality is formed. And in our view, the fundamental segment which we should pay attention to. So we are business. We came to the industry. We define the target audience, marketing business. But at the same time, we feel that we do something very useful and important for our target audience. We created the kids board of directors, and around this, we built all the campaign. The board of the directors is re-elected 3 times per year. Every week, they go to these meetings, and together with adults, they discuss adults' tasks. And we have real tasks. Every Thursday, we have these meetings. At the beginning of the meeting, the adults report to the directors, and then experts. It depends on the topic. So we invite different experts. After the experts' talks, we discuss adult tasks with kids. And then we These ideas which we received and discussed together with kids, we embody this in real products and real content, competitions. Everything what the company Yummy United produces is invented by kids or with their active participation. And now in Russia, you can see our products in shops. You can buy them. This can be different cocktails, juices, breakfasts. This is all invited by kids. If you pay attention to the ideas, if you're professional marketing, you will find a lot of mistakes and contradictions to traditional approaches. And this is one thing, because kids see it like this. These are not just products. It's a new product which we are launching, smoothie, also invented by kids. Also, mobile application, Yummy 3000, which was invented, but because Earth people, they want aliens technologies. As company, Yummy United, we invest actively not only to products and interaction with children. We have also our own YouTube channel. We create content. We interact with all companies, organizations who work with kids, because for us it's mega important to have right channels and format of interaction. We already know not to talk to people. We say to them colleagues. They call me Oleg. They can interrupt me, and that's good, because maybe because I'm not a teacher. I don't know how I should behave. I behave like I feel. And now we just finished we just finished the selection, 700 potential candidates, and now we have a new board, 40 kids in the board of directors, 28 cities, all projects, all activities of the company is formed around the idea that the kid has to learn to formulate his ideas, convey these ideas, and to stand his ground, and then monitor how his idea or her idea becomes true. This is the basis of our project with Skolkovo. Big starts from small. So we don't want to save planet or don't fly to Mars. We have a precise village, city, school where kids live. They can find problems and they can find a way to solve these problems. So we launched a competition. We have 300 projects from 180 cities. Now we chose 50. We'll present them. 10 projects became on the Boomstar of crowdfunding platform, and 3 projects are winners. And today we presented these 3 projects, and the next stage for us is very important, implementation in lab, because in our cycle from idea to realization, everybody said about this, that the kid has to learn to create. And the idea big starts small, not from big ideas, but with small activities. And I think around this there should be all education, upbringing, because this is the paradigm in which we should exist. So we don't need generation which is disciplined. We need the generation which is creative, which is able to interact. That's all. That's our project, and we have 3 winners. We spoke about them already. Don't feed. The project Don't Feed, bicycle parking lot, and skate park. 3 different teams, and they became winners of our competitions. We dreamt at least about one project. At least one project could fundraise. But now we have 3 projects, and we'll make these projects true. Okay, Yam United Company. These are our 3 projects. Alex, thank you very much. From the point of view of professional activity, all members of the board of directors, I congratulate you on the 4th round. Now coming back, so speaking about this experience which you've got, big starts small. What difficulties do you encounter? They also play real business. They develop product lines. They offer solutions. What is challenge here? Can you explain it? I don't see any challenges because I'm an entrepreneur. I see only possibilities everywhere. Where we have traditional system of education, so people are historically involved in upbringing, and here we can see tension. And how do we act? We just avoid contact, or we live in our parallel life. Trust, respect to this small personality. This personality has a small, his or her point of view in spite of everything. And this kid's opinion, it's very important, and we live around it. And we build up partnerships with all of them. And this is my point of solving problems, to avoid them. We had also mentors line, which helped us and our entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, to finish ideas till precise projects. Ekaterina mentioned about the institution of mentorship. Can you say about this mentorship as a mechanism of communication with this target audience within the framework of such competitions? Is it efficient? Can it be our hypothesis that this tool can be used also in the future? First of all, I would like to thank all mentors. They are good, and so really they help kids a lot. And it was very important. Mentorship, I know that we have to change roles. I don't know how should we call this role, mentorship or something else, but it's different from teachers. I like this concept very much. I don't consider myself as a mentor, but maybe, yes, I'm also a mentor. Maybe. I like this project very much, and I like to see many initiatives in the sphere of paradigm shift, role shift, and we also are speaking about kids in 10, 15, 20 years. They will manage our country. They will create future. They can start right now if we help them to express themselves, to open up. Katya, can you share your opinion on this? Considering our competition, what about mentorship? Is it still early to be mentors for such audience? Yes, of course. I've never been a mentor, but you was the member of the jury. Yes, but I could see what happened inside the teams because I saw how projects develop, how they grow. I saw the contribution of mentors. I saw projects, and there were projects where you could see that adults worked instead of kids, and you could see this at once. So the presentations are good, and then 2 questions from the jury. They don't understand how it was done. The kids can't understand where the slate came from. But on the other hand, those mentors who were tactful and who helped kids, really helped kids. So these kids became more more oriented for result. What about your company? Did you have mentors? We have only one person, Dmitry Man. He was mentor. He was not a mentor for. You know, no, because we can do something for other people. We do some work, forgetting that we can perform two roles. I could recommend all our friends, corporate partners, to see that work with you is not only a way to involve in creation of new products, but for you it's also a way to motivate your own employees and to reduce their burnout, because mentorship is the best way to prevent also professional burnout. I had a case experience in Korolova in Science City. We wanted to select mentors for school project space topic, and our task was to say that the priority was 55 plus the age. 35 minors responded, and when I asked them, you just graduated from the university, and one guy says, I studied at Beaumont University, and now for 18 hours I am sitting at the computer for 18 hours per day, and now when I come to school kids, I am a person for them who makes rockets, who makes rockets, space rockets. Okay, we can continue outside open air, and I would like to thank our speakers. I think we had a very interesting conversation about the real participation of kids, studying adults in different industries, not only through school projects as a studying contribution, but also it was interesting from the point of view of mentorship. I wish everybody good evening, and I hope see you soon at Startup Village platform. Goodbye. Thank you very much, friends. It was very interesting. The international conference Startup Village 2021 is coming to an end. This was amazing 2-day hitchhiking around innovations. We would like to thank the chief co-organizer of conference, without which Startup Village 2021 won't be fine. Web Ventures, the group Web Beriev, strategical partner GOS Corporations Roscosmos, general partner Bank VTB, official partner Gazprom Bank, special partner Department of Entrepreneurship and Innovation Development of Moscow, ecosystem partner MTS Startup Hub, official water partner brand PepsiCo, partners Tinko Fund, infrastructural educational programs, group Rosnana, companies SAP and Accenture. Thank you all participants that you were with us non-stop for these 2 days. My name is Sviatoslav Savchenko. See you next year. Goodbye.